Hey ghouls, Terror Krueger, the sweetest psychopath you'll ever meet, and welcome back to my channel. Of course I'm back, bitch. You can't kill me. So for those of you who watched my video last time, you know that yes, I did test positive for coronavirus, and since then I have not tested once, but twice I've tested positive. As of right now, I've actually tested negative. I had no symptoms since the 30th, so 10 days after that, I already became non-symptomatic and was released from isolation because I was no longer contagious. I did still wear a mask and really keep my distance and limit to where I went because I was still positive and I still didn't want to affect other people. Anyways, sorry for that story. If you're new here, hello, welcome. My name is Terror Krueger. I'm the sweetest psychopath you'll ever meet. And I just want to say a big thank you to Teresa is Dead. Also, if you watched my last video, I kind of went on this little rant about how I was getting no support in the beauty community and I was over it and I was going to look for something else to do. And then a couple days later, Teresa makes a video about her beauty community and she gave me an honorable mention. So I really appreciate that because I know a lot of you popped up over from her channel to mine, and now you're here, so I want to say hello and thank you. I really do appreciate you guys here. I really appreciate Teresa for giving me the shout out. I love her so much. She was one of the first people I ever found here on YouTube. We did like the same review on a palette. It was like from a Lunatic Cosmetics launch, and we kind of started talking from there, and we became such little good YouTube Judies from that. But anyways, the real reason why you guys are here is because we're gonna talk about my favorite deaths from A Nightmare on Elm Street. A Nightmare on Elm Street, obviously my name is Terror Krueger, so I grew up watching Nightmare on Elm Street, and they have been like my favorite films. Actually, you know what's hilarious? Out of Freddy Krueger's like my favorite ultimate movie slasher, although I only like the films from part 1 through 4 and part 7. The rest of them I fucking can't stand. I don't watch. But we're here to count down all my favorite deaths. So let's see if you guys agree with me and the deaths I picked. I kind of wanted to pick the most over the top, crazy deaths, the ones that are really memorable. That's why I like Freddy Krueger so much more than the other serial killers in the movies. Of course, I love all of them, but Freddy had the fucking ability to kill people in creative, weird ways because he did kill them in dreams. Let's just get started. I know I'm not wearing a Freddy glove and I'm wearing a stupid Freddy sleeve. I do have an actual metal Freddy glove, but surprisingly, it is actually way too big for my hand. So every time I wear it, it slips off and it's just fucking stupid. I need to buy a new one. Anyways, let's jump into my favorite kill, starting with number 10. And number 10 is going to have to be Joey, one of the survivors from A Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Of course, he does meet his end in A Nightmare on Elm Street 4. This scene was so hard to edit because I had to cover the girl's titties. But I love this part where you get the iconic line, how's this for a wet dream? He's hanging out in his bed, watching some MTV, falls asleep. The model from his poster ends up inside his waterbed. So, of course, he's like, he wants to fuck that. Little he doesn't know, Freddy Krueger pops out and drowns him. I love the end shot where you see the mom discover his body under the fucking waterbed. But I honestly couldn't find that scene. I had to pull these clips off YouTube and shit, so it was kind of hard to get everything I wanted. But that 9 is definitely handsome Dan from Nightmare on Elm Street 5. I honestly fucking hate this movie. This one's the dream child, and oh my god, this movie's so fucking... The only part I really like is this whole scene where, Freddy's, fucking with them, and I love how he just pours the wine all over his arm, pulls it off, and sticks it to the fucking, wall for, what... I don't know what reason, just to, freak him out, I guess. I just really like... And, it's driving, he crashes, he wakes up in the fucking pool again. He jumps on a motorcycle. After Freddy just fucked with you in a truck, the last thing I want to do is get on a motorcycle. But anyways, he jumps on this shit. Freddy starts morphing into the motorcycle and taking over his body, which he looks pretty cool. He looks like he's out one of the Hellraiser movies, but then he just ends up crashing head onto a semi-truck and burning to death. Hey Alice, wanna make some babies? Number 8 is Greta from the same fucking piece of shit part 5. And I actually really love this scene. She's one of these debutantes who her mom's always slapping her hand at her weight. Total being a momager. And then of course Freddy pops up as she falls asleep at the dinner table. This part's really cute because I just love it how he starts cutting open the doll and force feeding her because you are what you eat, bitch. And then of course in the dream sequence she's getting force-fed, and she sees everyone around the table just laughing at her. But of course, in reality, she wakes up and everyone just thinks she's choking on her food. That's always one of the ways I wanted to go out, you know, at a big party, you know, just make a big fucking scene and just fucking slam my face in the table at the end dead. Oh my god, kind of like Redman in Seed of Chucky when she like guts him under the table and he just falls face first under the glass table and dies. And I forgot what number we're on, but the next one is Julie from Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I remember I saw this in theaters. I was really, really little, but my parents took me to go see it. And I remember just like how Nancy was getting the creepy phone calls really scared the shit out of me, and I don't know why. But this is one of my favorite scenes, paying tribute to the iconic death from the first one. I just love this one because you can actually see Freddy like dragging her across the fucking room. You just don't see her like being slid up by some invisible force. You actually see him sliding her around and like all the blood smearing everywhere. I just love it. It's so cute. I've always wanted to go out like that. He eventually just snaps her neck and she falls off the fucking ceiling and stuff. But that was such an iconic scene. I remember loving that scene so much as a kid. As a kid, I had this weird thing where like I liked to play around when I was by myself or with friends. If I had my cousins, it was a lot easier, but I would always like to reenact death scenes from horror movies, and I was always mad because this was one of the death scenes I always wanted to play, but I could not, you know, I couldn't lift up and slide across the walls and stuff as much as I wanted to. That just reminds me of like if you guys are familiar with John Waters, there's a film called Female Troubles, and in the movie, the daughter, who's actually being played by Ming Stoll, who's like a 40-year-old woman playing a little girl, but one of her favorite things to do is to play car accidents. That was honestly like me as a kid. I always loved playing that I was being murdered or dying some crazy way. And number 6, I believe we're on number 6, is Terence. Oh my god, part 3 has to be like my favorite of the Nightmare series. She looks bad and beautiful, and honestly when I was a kid and I saw her, I was like obsessed. I was like, I need to start dressing like that. I need a mohawk. I just need to look fierce, you know, minus the heroin and everything. But this was always one of my favorite scenes because I just really loved her character, and I was so sad to see that she meets her demise at the end. And what a fucked up way for Freddy to actually kill her too is she's a recovering heroin addict, and his famous "Let's Get High" with his fucking fierce ass needle gloves and her little track marks start spewing open like little mouth like hungry baby birds for that heroin. Yes honey, give us that black tar. And just sticks them into her arm, and I mean that's honestly like a lethal dose of like heroin. I mean 2 might have been too much, but fun fact, if you care, back when I was a kid, my dad was a welder, and he actually made me my own like metal Freddy Krueger. I know, responsible parents, right? So my little like 3-year-old ass had this like fierce ass Freddy glove, and I would go around and scratch the walls. I remember one time, I don't know where he got it, but my dad brought me and my cousin this giant, if you know who Stay Puft is from like Ghostbusters, I don't know where he found it, but someone actually made a giant Stay Puft. I remember he was huge as fuck. He was like this big, and he was actually made of real marshmallow, and he brought it to me and my cousin, and the first thing we did was like, let's go get my Freddy glove and rip this fucker up. Of course it was just like a big gooey fucking disgusting mess of marshmallow, and even as a child, one of my pet peeves was like to be sticky, and I don't know how I do it as an adult now. But I just remember that glove was like covered in fucking marshmallow. It was like, ugh. Good thing I was like a child, so my mom was left to clean that mess and not me. And next has to be Sheila from A Nightmare on Elm Street 4. This is one of my favorite ones. Although the storyline was kind of like whatever, it did have some of the best death scenes. And Sheila's like the little nerdy girl who gets pulled into Alice's dream. And of course, like, there's all this chaos going on in the classroom with that metal thing that pulled her face around. Freddy walks up to her being very predatory. He reminds me of high school myself. Asks if she wants to suck face, and he just like sucks the life out of her. I remember the first time I saw part 4 of A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is how old I am, this is how long ago it was. I was visiting family in Dallas, and I remember we had just gone to the mall, and I was so jealous of my cousin because it was the time when, oh my god, it was back when the Spice Girl dolls were like just released, and we had gone to the mall and she got all of them and I didn't get one because I don't know why. But it's funny, I don't even really listen to the Spice Girls, I just wanted Barbies because I was that much of a little faggot. But Yeah, I remember sitting there on the couch and I was just like huffing at her because I'm like, oh, she got toys. And I probably got shit too because I was a spoiled little shit growing up. I don't remember what I got because obviously I really wanted the fucking stupid Spice Girls dolls. Anyways, I just remember we're sitting there and then my dad was like, oh, we'll put a movie on for the kids. And he puts A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 on. And the next one is again from A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, my favorite nightmare, and this is Phillips' death. He makes these little marionette dolls, and a fun fact right there is that I'm supposed to be one of the bounty hunters from another one of my favorite movies, Critters, and they have like these blank faces and they kind of just morph into whatever they want. On part 2 of Critters, one that actually almost turns into Freddy Krueger. But anyways, that's not the only Critters reference in part 3 of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Anyways, this is one of my favorite deaths when I was a kid watching this movie. It always just looked so crazy how he splits his arms and legs open and pulls what I've always assumed is just like his veins all mangled up out to like string him up like a puppet. It just looks so painful. And I just love like how well these effects are, and this is like from the fucking 80s. I just love this scene so much. And then of course they make it look like he committed suicide or had a sleepwalking accident when Freddy walks up to this tower and then cuts the little veins and he falls to his death and dies, while the rest of the cast watched, trying to wake him up from his sleep. That was one of my favorite death scenes in that. I was almost going to put this one as number 1 just because it's like iconic, but there's honestly 2 more deaths that still stood out more to me than this one. But this one is up there because it is the Freddy Krueger's first kill in the whole series, and I just love this whole scene because I remember watching this one as a kid, just freaking out with the whole long arm things and that little creepy ass run he does. Everyone like makes fun of how stupid it looks. For some reason as a kid it creeped me out. I don't know, a lot of stupid random things creeped me out as a kid, especially like after he cuts off his fingers and he tackles Tina and they're like rolling around. And again, I hate things with the weird eyes and face exposed, and she pulls off his face, and I remember that like gave me the chills. Anyways, she wakes up next to hot ass Rod. The mailman's probably here. He slices Tina open and starts sliding her across the walls. Ron's just kind of sitting there like, what the fuck's what's going on, watching her. It's just a crazy scene. Like I remember my mother telling me when she would go see this in theaters, her and her friends actually like snuck into the movies and they didn't even know what movie they went into. They just went into a random one, and it was A Nightmare on Elm Street. And she said like after Tina's death, like half of the theater got up and walked out because they were so like traumatized. And she said her and her friends were like, well, I want to see what happens next. And number 2 is once again from A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and this is always the way I would have wanted to go out if I was one of Freddy's victims. It's Jennifer, who wants to become a star as soon as she gets out of the psych ward that she's being held in. She burns herself with cigarettes to keep herself awake. And another fun oh look, there's Zsa Zsa Gabor being interviewed, and then of course he turns into Freddy because she's dreaming, and he slices her up with the whole "who gives a fuck what you think." She goes up to try to fix the TV, and it has the most iconic part where Freddy breaks out this mechanical arms and lifts her up as his head emerges from the TV. So iconic, one of my favorite scenes. The whole, "this is it, sugar, your big break in TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch," and slams her head into the TV. Love this scene so much. One of my favorites. This is also one of the other scenes where Critters is mentioned. She's watching a couple like shows here and there before she gets to the Zsa Zsa Gabor interview, and in the scene she's watching Critters 1. Liz Shay is in it. She's like the receptionist of the police department, and she's also the teacher in A Nightmare on Elm Street 1 because Robert Shay is her brother, so she was in a lot of early Miramax movies like with cameos and stuff like that, which is really cute. I thought that was cute. One day I'd like to be a star because you know I'm a thief and a shit kicker, and I'd like to be famous. And number 1 has to be like, and it was just so like, oh my god, because this is one of the, I mean, I probably wouldn't have been lifting weights or working out, but I hate roaches so much, and I just thought this one was so fucking cool. I love the character of Debbie. She reminded me like, I don't know, someone I knew in my childhood. She just reminded me so much of somebody I knew. The look, the attitude, everything, the whole fitness. Oh, because my family is like filled with fitness. That's why I don't know why I'm so fat. But everyone in my family is like obsessed with fitness and shit. And scared of roaches. Well, me mostly. But I just love the way it looks with her arm falling off to the ground. It's just, I'm so obsessed with the like gelatin arm thing. And then like the whole fucking roach arms emerging from her body. Oh, and by the way, I love the song that she's working out too. Put Hands on Me by Sinead O'Connor. Loved it. Then she walks into like the fucking Roach Motel and slams her face into the little goo shit, and I just love how it looks. She picks up her fucking head and like the shit just rips right off, and she's like a full little cockroach with like human legs. Iconic. I fucking love that scene so much. And then at the end, Freddy just smashes the Roach Motel, squishing her inside. So I always wonder, like, as a kid when I watch him, like, well, how did she look in real life when he killed her? Did like he just make it look like the fucking barbell like fell on her face or something, killed her that way? Because I'm like, he pretty much like crushed her whole body. So what is the like real life version of her dead body look like? Anyways, that's it. That's my top 10 kills for A Nightmare on Elm Street. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I love making these videos. Sorry if this whole video is trash. When I'm excited, I talk really, really fast. And of course, I'm talking about murder and like Freddy Krueger. So I just fucking like, I'm like on one right now. And I just like, I don't really notice how fast I talk. And then I'm like editing and trying to splice. I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Calm down. Because it's hard to fucking cut when I like make a mistake. Because I don't even pause. I just keep going. It's, I need to work on that. Anyways, I have some new videos coming out soon. I'm just waiting for more stuff to come into the mail. I did order a bunch of new makeup, and I'm really excited to try it, but I don't want to use any of it yet till I do like a first impressions in the video coming soon. Some of my stuff, the last of it should come in tomorrow, so expect that video like next week. I'm also waiting for another site I found, and I don't want to give it away yet, but their shit is so fucking cute, and I was like going crazy when I found this brand, and I was like, oh my god, I went because I was gonna order so much shit, and like everything was sold out. So as soon as they have everything back in stock, I will gladly do a video on that brand and show you guys all the cute shit I bought. So I know they're gonna restock this week, so hopefully I remember and I order everything that I plan on to. I said that weird. Anyways, once again, I want to say thank you to Teresa's Dead for giving me an honorable mention shout out. I really appreciate it so much. And all you new cult members, all you Krueger cult members, I want to say hello and welcome. Yes, we do makeup on this channel. We also do like favorite kill countdowns. I sometimes do trailer reviews for horror movies coming out, and I kind of want to get into like the whole true crime shit too. I just really love true crime as much as I do horror movies, and I kind of want to like have my take on that. Like one of my favorite YouTube channels is like Bailey Sarian, Nick Crowley, so I just kind of want to get into more of that shit too later. I think it's fun, you know, dressing up in drag and like doing something cute like that. It's gonna be fun because I miss doing drag, but because of the whole pandemic going on right now, I can't, there's nowhere else for me to do it except for here in front of the camera. But you know, honestly, this is a lot better because I don't have to cinch or tuck, and that is so much easier. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hit that bell for notifications, subscribe to this channel. If you want to hang out with me in between uploads, you could follow me anywhere, but I prefer you follow me on Instagram and subscribe to this channel. I did make a new Twitter account because I called Jeffree Star a slur for being a racist piece of shit. So if you're interested in following me on Twitter, because I have like no followers on there, you could go follow me there too, and I would really appreciate it. But until the next time, stay spooky, and I'll see you ghouls later.